إن الحمد لله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض في 6 أيام ثم استوى على العرش يدبر الأمر وكان عرشه على الماء ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا فتعالى الله الملك الحق لا إله إلا هو رب العرش الكريم إن الحكم إلا لله أمر أن لا نعبد إلا إياه ذلك الدين القيم ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون فلله الحمد رب السماوات ورب الأرض رب العالمين وله الكبرياء في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم نحمده سبحانه ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ به من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله الرسول النبي الأمي الذي يؤمن بالله وكلماته أرسله ربه رحمة للعالمين وسيد المرسلين وخاتم النبيين بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعة فالذين آمنوا به وعزروه ونصروه واتبعوا النور الذي أنزل معه أولئك هم المفلحون ومن يعص الله ورسوله ويتعد حدوده يدخله نارا وكان ذلك على الله يسيرا اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت وسلمت وباركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين. If you take a look at humanity from above and you look at humanity microscopically, what would you see? Billions of human beings, almost 7 billion of us, moving about every day, scattered all over the earth, seemingly in a disorderly fashion, like locusts that are a pestilence on earth. We strive so hard, day by day, rushing to somewhere to make ends meet. And as we do this striving day by day, we take away the rights of one another. We destroy the environment and the world as we pollute it more and more. We deplete the earth of its natural resources till there will come a time we have no more. The weak prey, the strong prey on the weak, the wealthy prey on the poor, and those with power, they prey on all of us. This is the sorry state of humanity from one lens. And subhanallah, our very existence was called into question by a question. And that question, a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, was أَتَجْعَلُ فِيهَا مَا يُفْسِدُ فِيهَا وَيَسْفِكُ الدِّمَاءَ. Our existence called into question by a question. From Malaika so wise, not that they've seen the future of man, but they can see our capability and our propensities. They saw a creature that has desires and free will. They saw a creature that can choose to obey Allah or not to obey. They saw a creature, if not guided, can become destructive. Subhanallah. So my dear respected brothers and sisters, I think it is time for us all to reflect upon the purpose of our creation. As the days are winding down, when we're all becoming very, very agitated by one thing that we hail as one of the bright spots of human history, The one thing that we hail, that says that human beings are capable of doing things on our own. That one thing, demos, kratos, democracy. The type of system and government that many countries have today. A system that was formed thousands of years ago, 5 centuries BC, over 500 years before, since we have no point of reference, the advent of Isa ibn Maryam alayhi salam in Athens, Greece. A concept of government that would juxtapose the existing one of an aristocracy. They decided, one man, he decided to come up with a system that was called Demos Kratia. Demos, which means common people. Kratos means rule, wherein they will pick a normal person to become the leader of the masses. And they had a system of selecting this person. And they had to limit it by scope to make sure that only citizens could do that. At that time in Greece, not everybody was a citizen. A woman could not vote. A slave could not vote. It had to be an adult male that was considered a citizen. So in the entire population, only about a small percentage fit that. Nonetheless, the concept had some soundness, wherein people get to choose their leaders, or people get to vote. Everybody got to vote in laws that were enacted. And that there was a way to peacefully transition from one government to another. Democracy is not a new idea. Yes, the United States democracy is different than the democracy of Greece to some degree. We have a representative democracy, a liberal democracy in other ways, looking at it. That there's some of the elements of this democracy ensured that people were part of a political process to elect someone. Another thing that had to be in place, that everyone had an equal footing under the law. That there must be rule of law, and that everyone has equal footing under the law. And that everyone must be allowed to participate in the system. They are great ideals. If you look at it, we champion them. We say that this is the best human beings can do. My dear respected brothers and sisters, have you ever asked yourself, why are human beings obsessed about ruling each other? Have you asked yourself that question? It's a great system. It's certainly better than some other isms. There are a lot of good things about communism, but a lot of horrible things about it. Marxism, same deal. All these many isms that have come and gone. They just have different names. But in the end of the day, is it the people that rule America? Have you asked yourself the question? When last did you vote on a law? See, when you have a representative democracy, you elect someone to represent you in the legislative body. That's why we have the House of Representatives. That's why we have the Congress. Those are our representatives that will enact laws on our behalf. Laws that none of us have ever read. In fact, laws which they themselves have never read. Somebody writes it, lobbies them, say, bring this to the Congress. If it gets passed, we will contribute to your campaign. And that's it. Many, many laws are enacted this way. So I'm saying to you, still, we have a system that is better than most other forms of government. That is true in some ways. But it is also inherently flawed in the way it is implemented. Because you and I have to look at the human being. What does the human being want? What are we all looking for? We all want prosperity, that is true. We all want freedom, that is true. We all want liberty. We all want safety and security. But how do we achieve that together, collectively? This is why humans form governments. Through all time. Subhanallah. Let us reflect upon ourselves, because the Malaika did the reflection for us. Take any simple human being, a common person. As soon as you give them the power of authority, don't they change immediately? The human being, as soon as you empower them, you give them authority, they immediately change. Your friend, yesterday, the nice guy, could punish you today because now he has the power to do so. Take a very poor person. As soon as you make them wealthy, what does that make them feel? They feel better than others. There's an inherent concern in human beings. For example, Ibrahim alayhi salam was giving da'wah, subhanallah, to a ruler. So you have to look at rulers of all time. Ibrahim was giving da'wah to bring this ruler to Tawheed. But subhanallah, when Ibrahim engaged with this person, that ruler's focus wasn't Tawheed. Allah tells us in Al-Baqarah, أَلَمْ تَرَ إِلَى الَّذِي حَاجَّ إِبْرَاهِيمَ فِي رَبِّهِ أَنْ آتَاهُ اللَّهُ الْمُلْكَ. Have you not considered the one that argued with Ibrahim about Ibrahim's Lord? Just because Allah has given this person, kingdom. So Ibrahim was just saying, Mr. Ruler, as powerful as you are, you need to focus on Allah. So what did Ibrahim tell this guy? Ibrahim simply said, Rabbi alladhi yuhyi wa yumeet. Ibrahim only was just trying to tell this man that life and death comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ رَبِّيَ الَّذِي يُحْيِي وَيُمِيتُ. You know what the man said? He could have said, yes, that's true. قَالَ أَنَا أُحْيِي وَأُمِيتُ. I give life and I give death too. And he demonstrated for Ibrahim. Say, see, person in jail, I'm going to free him. This other person, I'm going to order him executed. See, I give life, I give death. He demonstrated, subhanallah, to Ibrahim, what happens to a human being when you have authority. Ibrahim is talking Tawheed. This man is talking what? Power. Tyranny. That's what happens when you give a human being a little control over other human beings. That ruler, Namrud, Allah killed him so easily by an insect. This human being, so high and mighty, so powerful sometimes, so arrogant, all it takes is an invisible creature of Allah to take him out. But look how authority makes us feel powerful. Take a look, for example, Fir'aun, the same deal. He said to people, Ana Rabbukumul A'la, I'm your Lord Most High. Why? He feels that he can control. Alaysa li mulku Misr. Isn't the dominion of Egypt, doesn't that belong to me? This river that flows beneath my feet. See, this is how he thinks. And look how he compares himself to Musa alayhi salam. Am ana khayrun min hadha alladhi huwa mahin wa la yakadu yubin. Am I not better than this lonely person? See, I am royal. Look at this Musa, he's plain. He's an ordinary person. He's worthless. He can barely express himself. And then he says why he feels he's better. فَلَوْلَا أُلْقِيَ عَلَيْهِ أَسْوِرَةٌ مِّن ذَهَبٍ أَوْ جَاءَ مَعَهُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ مُقْتَرِنِينَ. That's how they talk. I have wealth. I have power. I come from a rich family. Look at me. The human being, you give them authority, they think they're better than the rest of us. You give them wealth, they think they're better than the rest of us. Subhanallah. And sometimes, when Allah gives a human being a little extra knowledge, they also think that they're better than the rest of us. Qarun is showing off with his wealth. When they tell him, hey, be careful, you know what I'm saying? قَالَ إِنَّمَا أُوتِيتُهُ عَلَىٰ عِلْمٍ عِنْدِي. I got this because I'm very smart. If you ask all the Wall Street bankers that are cheating us day and night, they will say, I got wealthy because I am smart. You were stupid enough to sign my contract that says you're signing your soul to the devil. They will laugh at you because you never read their contract. That's how they became wealthy. So I am saying, brothers and sisters, look at what human beings want to do with democracy. We want to rule ourselves. But did Allah create us for self-rule? Is my question today. When we designed, created given a purpose for self-rule. The Malaika did not think so. They were concerned about human beings being left alone to do as we want to do as we please. Why is it so that sometimes the most righteous human being, but if you give them the power, you give them the money, you give them the smarts, they change? Why is it so that human being that campaigns for your vote day and night, says, I'm going to do this and that for you, as soon as they get into office, they forget you? We see that all the time, brothers and sisters. We see that all the time. And yet again, were we placed on earth so that we can just govern ourselves? No, by Allah. Allah knows that human being needs guidance because the shaitan is our enemy. Allah promised to put us in as-sirat al-mustaqim. Inna hadaynahu sabila imma shakiran wa imma kafura. Allah says, no, I did not only create you and put you on this earth, but I will show you the right way. And that we must live by the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, فَاحْكُمْ بَيْنَهُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ وَلَا تَتَّبِعْ أَهْوَاءَهُمْ. You should judge between people by what Allah has revealed, because Allah is al-adil. Allah is the most just. Allah does not commit any dhulm. Allah says this, Hadith Qudsi, Ya ibadi, inni harramtu dhulma ala nafsi, wa ja'altuhu baynakum muharrama, fala tadhalamu. He says, oh my slaves, I made dhulm haram for myself. Allah, the one that has the most power, He Himself, kataba ala nafsihi rahmah, enjoined rahmah upon Himself. Because too much power without control will lead to abuse. Even Allah puts checks on Himself. Haramtu dhulma ala nafsi. Allah said, I made dhulm haram for myself. وَجَعَلْتُهُ بَيْنَكُمْ مُحَرَّمًا. And I made dhulm amongst yourselves also haram. فَلَا تَظَالَمُوا. Do not wrong one another. Allah knows that a little power is all it takes for a human being to start to oppress others, to start to impose upon others. So Allah left us a framework for us to live. Now you may say to me, yes, brother, today in our society, our modern democracies, we do need laws. I agree with everybody on that. What kind of laws do we need? We need different kinds of laws. We have laws, civic laws, for example, traffic lights. We need traffic lights. We need traffic laws. We need speed limits. That all of it fits within the framework of Sharia of having safety and security. Subhanallah. There's so many aspects of Islam that are so commonsensible that you can make laws out of them. Not to drive too fast. Listen, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us this. Salah is the most important thing that we do day by day, correct? If you are late for Salah, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, do not run to Salah. وَعَلَيْكُمْ بِالسَّكِينَةِ وَالْوَقَارِ. You cannot run. So imagine a Muslim speeding in the morning to come to Salat al-Fajr. Car pulls you over and says, why are you running? He says, officer, I'm running to Salat al-Fajr. You're driving at 60 miles per hour in a 25 mile per hour zone. What should the officer do to you? Let you go because you want to worship Allah? Imagine that couple was Muslim, if he said to you, "Alaykum bis-sakinati wal-waqar," I'm going to give you a $500 ticket so you don't do it again, because driving that fast in the morning is a little dark. You could kill somebody or yourself. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, don't run to the salah. Take your time. Whatever you miss, catch it up. Just give you an example of how Islam covers these small things. We have many civic laws that govern marriage. Allah has revealed them. Laws that govern war and acts of war, Allah has revealed them. Laws that govern financial transactions, Allah has revealed them. Brothers and sisters, so much so that the longest ayah in Quran is an ayah about financial transaction, contracting a debt. The longest ayah in the book of Allah. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا تداينتم بدين إلى أجل مسمى فاكتبوه. Subhanallah. Allah commanded that we write down contract, and the contract must be witnessed by two witnesses, and that the person taking the loan is the dictator of this. He gets to dictate that I, so and so, I am taking this from that, putting the onus on the borrower, not the lender. SubhanAllah. Allah has revealed this. Laws that govern worship, we already have those as well. Allah did not leave any requirement for us that will make sure that humanity will have a peaceful existence, coexistence with one another. There is no law that is absent from the book of Allah. From the time of Adam till Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I guarantee you that. Many of the laws we have today are so convoluted, it takes a legal scholar to understand it. Because it was written in such a way that it only benefits the few and not the masses. Remember, the founding idea of democracy is for the masses to rule, is to choose a leader from the masses. Over time, people realize, no, we have to choose a ruler from the elites of society. Now ask yourself, in our democracy here in the United States, have we ever elected a president that is a simple man, that did not come from a certain background, a privileged background, whether they were wealthy or prestigious? Have we elected such persons? Maybe never. You might say, President Obama, yes, I know, we all like him. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. But he is also part, he wasn't a simple man who decided to run for president. He was a senator. He's already. It is almost impossible for a nobody to walk up. And you're going to say, well, in this election cycle, the other person running here is not a politician. Yeah, but they've spent a lot of time putting their name out there. So sometimes democracy produces what? A populist candidate or a privileged candidate. And that's what you see this time. It's an election between the populist and the privileged from one angle. So my dear respected brothers and sisters, as the days are winding down, I don't want you to worry about the election on the 8th of November. I want you to worry about our own existence as human beings. What are we doing? Even if we were to rule ourselves, even if we were to implement democracy, what is the end result? أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين ثم أما بعد. My dear respected brothers and sisters, democracy is a good idea for human beings to self-govern, to organize themselves, whether they're in a city, a state, a nation. And it's been more than 2,000 years and it's still not perfect yet. Can you imagine that? Democracy has been around for more than 2,000 years. There's nowhere in this world where there's a perfect democracy. And not all democracies are the same. We have a representative democracy. For example, in other countries, they have a constitutional monarchy. Still, they have a democratically elected parliament. They have different types, so there's no one way of implementing democracy. But if we focus on just the ideals of it, to be able to elect amongst us somebody from amongst us, not necessarily somebody from a privileged group. You don't have to be born from a royal family to become a ruler, because that's what monarchies are. If you're not royal, you cannot be a ruler. But in America, yes, any of you could run for president. Not to say you're going to get elected, but you could try. You have a right to try. You have a right to try. And perhaps one of you, simple people, will be the next president decades from now. Maybe one of our children. So as a concept, to give every citizen the right to try, seemingly is good. For everybody to participate in the system. For everybody to be part of the lawmaking process. Those are all seemingly good. But I also want to raise the alarm here, brothers and sisters. What happens when people don't rule by the laws of Allah. Meaning, when we have corrupt laws that were designed by interest groups that oppress all of us and then give benefit to the few of us. That is happening through the democratic process. What happens when somebody rules that, okay, in America today, we're going to make this an obligation that every single one of you need to do X, Y, Z against your own rights? What do? How do you challenge it when your representative voted for it? Do you see the flaws that exist in the system? That sometimes a few people are ruling the majority of us. It is what they call an oligarchy. A few privileged people that are ruling all of us. That's what is sometimes happening in the background. Your congressman or senator is doing something that you don't even know about, that you don't even approve. It means every one of us need to get involved when we elect someone. Just don't elect them and go home. You have to check them, you have to watch them, and make sure that they're doing what is right. Now, the $1 million question is, I'm sure it's burning on everybody's mind. I will get the question, brothers, is it permissible to participate in elections? Is it haram or halal? Always, we like haram, halal questions, whether it's about McDonald's or something else. Muslims living minorities. I decided this time to make it easy. I would just like to tell you the fatwa of the standing community in Saudi Arabia was established, and many other places have, to say it is based on ijtihad, it's based on situation and countries, and they say that in some situations it is not only halal, but it is a requirement to stop a haram. So I don't want anybody to have any doubts, should you or should you not vote. The ulama is saying, yes, you can. But you first must have one important niyyah, al-amru bil ma'ruf wa nahyu anil munkar. Always vote. You're conscious, always vote on issues and always vote about preserving what is good and forbidding what is evil. Just don't vote for the sake of voting. Sometimes it takes your vote to stop a greater evil. And none of us have any doubt that this time a great evil is coming to all of us. Not just Muslims, by the way. All minorities. All non-white minorities. One candidate has made it perfectly clear what their platform is. To make America great again is to make it white again. You know, they asked some of the supporters, can you tell us when America was great? So that way we're making it great again. You know what one of them said? Well, I guess when we became independent. In the 18th century, they said, that's when America was great. So they asked them, but at that time, there was slavery. They go, yeah, but that's okay, sure. Minus the slavery. You ask people who want to make America great again, when was America great that it's not now? And when we take it back to? They take it back to a time when there was only one ethnic group that ruled this entire country. That's their mind, in their mind. They don't say it openly, but subconsciously, that's what they think America being great means. It means in America when none of us are here, to some of them. An America that is only homogeneously white, to some of them. An America wherein you are not prosperous over them. Can you imagine, so how can somebody, an American born, feel threatened by an illegal immigrant that is picking fruits in Florida? Does that threaten any of your jobs in Virginia? Absolutely not. But we want to build this tall wall for I don't know how many $1 billion to keep the fruit pickers out. I mean, we can argue that, yes, some people have criminal elements. The point is, all the fears that are stoked are unfounded fears. The greatness of America that we have to return it to, it's not great for everybody. Ask African Americans when America was once great. They suffered at the hands of police brutality with no rights whatsoever. They could not ride the bus like everybody else, but at the back of the bus. They could not even enter the same bathroom as everybody else. They had a black bathroom and then they had a white bathroom. They could not even go to the same schools. Their kids could not go to the same schools. Is that when America was great? No, by far it's not. America is great, yes, because we are trying to make it better. Other countries like the way they are, they stay that way, they discriminate, and they say if you don't like it, get out of this country. A country like France will ban a Muslimah from wearing hijab to go to the beach. They say if you don't like it, get out of this country. A country like, for example, the Netherlands will ban halal meat and say if you don't like it, get out of here. In America, you can challenge the system. If you don't like it, you can challenge the system when it is wrong. And sometimes it takes one man to pick up the mantle to say, we need justice, we need liberty, we need equality. That's what makes America's democracy exceptional. It doesn't mean when you vote, you endorse the entire system. But sometimes you must vote, brothers and sisters, to stop something worse coming our way. And if you doubt that something worse is coming our way, you're not living in America at all. You're living somewhere else. The rest of the world is already corrupt. So I don't know where else you plan to go to live, except a village where you have some goats and sheep and some chickens. That's where you live till you die. But for as long as you're a citizen of this country, do not sit home and let somebody destroy our democracy. Don't let somebody bring tyranny in here, and certainly we will not let somebody turn the clocks back. Over 2,000 years of trying to make a better democracy to return it back to anarchy. So sometimes you must vote so that way you can stop a greater evil. And I do agree with the fatwa of the Standing Committee in Saudi Arabia that already said voting is halal on a specific circumstance. And you and I live in the United States. This is one time I believe none of you should sit home and do nothing. If you would like to sit home and do nothing, pick another country where you want to become a citizen. Because if you're a citizen in a country, we're all in the same ship. And when one person wants to sink the ship, we have to stop that one person from sinking the ship. America is not perfect. It is far better than many other countries. Can it become better? Yes, it can. If not only we vote, but we participate civically in making sure the mayor, the county board supervisors, the governor, our congressmen, and our senators, they're all doing something. Amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar. It doesn't have to be an Islamic thing. They have to look for what benefits us all in society, as a spirit of goodwill. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا شر ما قضيت فإنك تقضي بالحق ولا يقضى عليك اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وانصر الإسلام والمسلمين واغفر لجميع موتى المسلمين يا عزيز يا كريم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين وأقيموا الصلاة فإن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون